Caitlin to the ground, and Caitlin gets taken out right here by the screen.
Caitlin Clark is under attack. Her back gave out, and they want you to believe it just happened. But it did not just happen. The season just started, and they have already hit her, grabbed her, and thrown her to the floor. And every single time, the referees looked the other way. They could not stop Caitlin Clark, so they decided to wear her down. This is every cheap shot they have already gotten away with. And this is why she is hurt.
Caitlin to the ground, and that's a...
The Mercury could not stop Caitlin Clark, so the whole team tried to hurt her instead. Cheap shot after cheap shot, and the refs swallowed every whistle.
After review, we do not have a hostile act on the play, as the shooter came down in her own normal motion.
19 points and 8 assists, and she was just getting started. Chasing a record no player in WNBA history had ever touched.
Clark 35 feet from the rim. Clark will launch it over her and heads!
Until Phoenix decided to stop her with their hands. They did not beat Caitlin Clark. They took her out. Real quick before we get into it, if you're tired of watching them do this to her and walk away clean, hit subscribe. And if you want to show your support for Caitlin Clark, there's a Protect Caitlin Clark collection in the shop. Link in the description. And from the jump, they were right on her, playing as physical as the refs would allow. But that kind of contact had never once gotten in her head.
Here's Clark's first look, it's catch and shoot, and she is fouled. So Caitlin Clark...
3 shots from the line, and she buried every single one. The Mercury kept doubling her every time she drove, and they made her work for it.
Clark gets by Copper. Clark gets to the rim, but couldn't finish.
They thought the double was the answer, so she stopped driving and pulled up from another zip code.
Right now.
Clark launches and hits a 3.
And when they backed off even a step, she took the whole floor.
Start after being held at just 6 points. And this time Clark will go coast to coast.
Really good check.
She was cooking from everywhere, and the crowd could feel what was coming next.
Clark 35 feet from the rim. Clark will launch it over her and heads.
She was unconscious from deep, but one finally rimmed out.
Nice. And did all 4 of their threes. There's their first miss.
The shot missed, so she went and got it back on the other end.
63% from the floor.
Coming off a 14-point, 10-rebound night on Monday. And an offensive foul on Alyssa Thomas.
And now she shifted into playmaker mode, threading the defense apart.
Clark works her way inside and finds Billings.
Oh, Billings.
She saw the cut before anyone in the building and delivered a dime right on time.
Clark bouncing, it's right to Mitchell for 2.
The assists were piling up, and she still had one more in the chamber before finishing the trip herself.
Drives into held. Cunningham from way outside hits a 3.
And when the defense collapsed, she just took it herself.
Johnson ahead, point guard to point guard, and Clark finishes.
She was carving up the Mercury from every angle, and the assists kept flowing.
He ended executing in the quarter court.
Clark gets it into Hines Allen, and it's Clark's 4th assist of the night.
And she was doing all of it in the middle of a streak no one in this league had ever touched. 6 straight games of 20-5, the longest the WNBA had ever seen. And tonight, she was chasing 7. That was the problem for Phoenix. They could not stop her with basketball. So what came next was not basketball.
High-scoring game has continued. Clark hits the floor, did a good job to get it out to Boston. Too strong on a 3-ball.
Caitlin to the ground, and that's a...
She was down on the floor, and what happened next is something every person in that building should be ashamed of. A forearm to the throat, a hand shoving her head into the floor, and then they stepped over her body. No whistle. And the Mercury were not done.
Mitchell turns on the Jets, waits for reinforcements. Cunningham, Clark. And she will shoot 3, and they will look at this for landing space. Clark.
They took her legs out from under her on the landing, one of the most dangerous plays in basketball. The ref sent it to review.
There was a little contact with the left foot too.
After review, we do not have a hostile act on the play as the shooter came down in her own normal motion. Therefore, play will resume from the point of interruption.
Normal motion. A defender sliding under a shooter's landing space is normal motion. She stepped to the line anyway and did not miss. The hits were adding up, and you could see it. Her next shot did not fall, but she was not done creating. She found Boston in the post and made the Mercury pay through her passing.
Jersey on as Boston lays it inside.
The body was wearing down though, and Bonner took advantage and stripped her clean.
Runs right into Bonner and turns it over.
She took it right back the only way she knows how.
Team didn't bring the ball with her. Here is Clark. Inside for Boston, and Boston lays it in.
Even banged up, the three-headed monster of Clark, Mitchell, and Boston was clicking.
Cross-court pass. Mitchell inside for Boston, who gets to the rim.
Great touch pass by Kelsey Mitchell.
And the pick and roll with Boston was giving Phoenix absolutely nothing they could handle.
Boston one bounce and gets it to go with the left hand.
But the punishment was catching up. The two-man game with Boston fell apart.
Two-man game. It's Clark in Boston as Boston spins to the rim but can't finish.
She misfired on the connection, but a missed shot has never once stopped her.
They're playing with house money on the road. They got 5 wins.
As Clark hits a three for Indiana.
That was the last bucket Caitlin Clark would score in this game, and she did not know it yet.
Goes behind the back. Held sticks with her, and Bonner comes up with a steal.
Her back had been on the injury report all season. A night of cheap shots finished what the Mercury started. Without her, the Fever crumbled. Indiana led this game, and with 2 points separating them on the final possession, she was on the bench in street clothes.
And couldn't get that
111 to 109, and she never got a chance to save it. Caitlin Clark finished the night with 19 points and 8 assists, and she did not even play the fourth quarter. Kelsey Mitchell fought for 30. But this game was decided by a forearm to the throat and a whistle that never blew. The Phoenix Mercury came in looking for a fight with Caitlin Clark, and Dewana Bonner was leading it. They got physical, Bonner got in her face, and the refs hit her with a technical for clapping.
This results in only a technical foul on Caitlin Clark.
That's wrong.
It's downright wrong.
24 points, 9 assists, and a WNBA record no one has ever touched. Her 6th straight game with 20+ and 5+, the longest streak in league history, all while dragging the Fever back from down 19-6. She did not just bounce back, she made history.
Clark, oh, from another stratosphere! Oh yeah!
Here we go.
And it started the moment she walked through the door. But the game did not start the way she planned.
Here's Clark, off the screen, left alone. 3-ball rims off, another offensive rebound.
6 points in the entire first quarter, the Fever's worst in 8 seasons. She had to claw her way in somehow.
Clark with a shot clock down to 6, spins her way on the baseline and draws the foul. Clark probably wishes that was.
Down 13 to start the second, the shots still were not falling.
Well, second quarter underway, Caitlin Clark back on the floor. Her 3-ball will not fall. Billings taps it to Johnson.
But she got a second chance on the very next touch.
Billings taps it to Johnson. Back for Clark, who hits. And
that was the spark. And when she drove the paint, she made the defense pay for collapsing.
It's the 6'1" Ayayi honor. Clark kick out. Hines Allen hits a 3.
Well,
suddenly the deficit was shrinking, and she was just getting started.
Clark from way outside drops a 3.
And in transition, she did not even let the defense get set.
In the way of Phoenix, and it turned into buckets. Clark, oh yeah!
Here we go.
Back-to-back threes, and the building was on its feet. The threes opened up the paint, and she knew it.
Oozing confidence. Clark on the drive, flips it up, and gets it to go. It's a 1-point game, Indiana.
She was seeing everything now, and Boston was in the perfect spot.
Clark almost got that 5th foul. Find inside. It's Boston.
A 19-6 hole was almost gone. She stepped to the line to keep chipping.
0 for 9. They've hit 6 shots now. Clark knocks down the 2 free throws, and Indiana back.
And when the Mercury scrambled in transition, she found Mitchell wide open.
Clark, Mitchell is on an island.
The lead was gone, and she wanted the crowd to feel what was coming next.
To let it fly from out there. Clark just spins off of Broshan. Timeout.
From 3 points in the first quarter to completely taking over the second. Just look at this run. She scored roughly 15 in the second quarter alone, flipping a 13-point deficit into a tie game at the half, 41 all. But she was nowhere close to done. And she opened the third by pushing the pace and finding Hull in stride.
Indiana has numbers. Clark launch ahead, and Hull hits a three.
The Mercury had no answer. She went right back at them.
Always gets her hips turned before the ball gets to her so she can see the floor. So you go.
And when they loaded up on her, the passing opened up again.
Mitchell, cross court, Clark, lob inside, rolling Billings, and one.
The connection with Billings was automatic all night.
They can play football just as effectively, I think. Clark bouncing for Billings, 2 more for Billings, she's got 10.
And when she grabbed the rebound herself, nobody was stopping what came next.
Up. Clark drives and bakes it in. From down 16.
From down 19 to 6 to leading by double digits. The Fever outscored Phoenix 80-58 over 3 quarters. But Phoenix was not going to go quietly. Alyssa Thomas made sure of that.
Early in the second, Clark still sitting on 2 as well. She had both of those in the first half. Hines Allen just swarming.
It was subtle, but the tension had been building all game. She did not let it rattle her. She answered on the very next possession.
Hines Allen. Clark steps back and hits it over Ayayi.
That made it a 17-point lead, and that is when DeWanna Bonner decided she had seen enough.
It's been excruciatingly hot coming into this one, and maybe the law of averages said she was too. Now
She got hit with a technical foul. Her crime, clapping.
Exciting the crowd.
well, now Clark is perplexed. Listen, to me, there looked like
Cunningham was not letting Bonner have the last word, and the refs were about to lose the plot entirely. Five technicals on one sequence. Maisha Hines-Allen shoved Bonner and got ejected. It might have been the longest fourth quarter in WNBA history, but through all of it, the Fever never lost the lead, and she still was not done scoring. She took the ball, stared down her defender, and went to work.
Here's Clark, putting on the moves. Clark on the drive, draws the foul. That is the foul to give for Phoenix.
The foul sent her to the line with a chance to push the lead past 20.
She's going to kill you with a crossover through the legs. Cross it over again. Get the defense off balance. And as soon
And she still had one more dime to drop.
Clark, Billings, two more.
Phoenix kept pushing, and Thomas was not done trying to get under her skin.
Thomas picks up the foul. You're probably pacing by now. You're up off your seat and you're just pacing.
And then the Mercury challenged the call. The result was unbelievable.
Well, that look tells it all. I'm pretty surprised here. This has been overturned.
Technical for clapping, an overturned call, and she still dominated every single minute. The numbers told the whole story. 3 points in the first quarter. 42 combined the rest of the way. That is what a takeover looks like. The Mercury tried everything. Physical play, trash talk, a near brawl. None of it mattered. 24 points, 9 assists, and her 6th straight game with 20+ and 5+. The longest streak in WNBA history. Nobody has ever done that. She came back from 2 losses, erased a 13-point hole, survived 5 technicals and a near brawl, and set a record that belongs to her alone. Hit that subscribe button. Tonight was supposed to be Caitlin Clark's night. She debuted her very own Nike signature shoe, the Caitlin ones. So of course, Angel Reese had to copycat her. Then she and the Dream spoiled the night even worse. And the refs gave them a push in the back.
Clark driving into Howard, layup too strong. Billings had it, lost it, and loose ball foul.
Atlanta shot 32 free throws. Caitlin barely got to the line, but that didn't stop her.
Free up Clark, extra pass, Billings, back for Clark, fire away, and hits a three!
And she came out looking like the shoe fit just right, finding Hull on the very first possession.
Hull catch and shoot, she connects.
hard cuts early. Indiana look.
You could feel it immediately. She was not easing into this one.
Clark weaves through traffic and gets right to the rim.
Shooters in the corner.
And when Atlanta tried to body her early, she welcomed the contact.
Clark in those Brand new Caitlin 1 sneakers. You know she wants to put on a show here tonight as Hillman is hit with the...
She was setting up defenders all night, and then she pulled the entire defense out of position.
Boston bouncing, trying to free up Clark. Extra pass.
She cleared herself out to the right wing, and Atlanta had no idea she was coming back for it.
Away, and hits a three.
And when the jumper was falling like that, the driving lanes opened up too.
In front. Clark spinning off a pow-pow and lays it in.
Boston found her on the handoff, and she made Ryan Howard pay.
Clark on a side step and knocks it down for the mid-range.
She was cooking from every spot on the floor, and then she went into the bag for something filthy.
Clark flips it up and draws the foul.
Yeah, smart. And she knew she had an advantage. She
Pow Pow bit on everything. 2 shots at the line, and she buried both.
Clark knocks down her.
And when the defense collapsed, she wielded that magic, threading it right through traffic.
Drives on Howard, had that pass deflected right into the hands of Cunningham, who of course hits the three.
You gotta be kidding.
But then the whistle started going the other way. She picked up a foul defending Howard.
What a streak.
I mean, when the basketball gods are on your side.
She did not let the foul calls slow her down, though. 2 defenders flew at her, and she carved them up anyway.
Away from Howard, Boston hits the three, and her red-hot season from the perimeter.
But right there, foul number 2 landed on her, and the clock on her night started ticking.
In 15 games.
She only made 17 in the first 3 seasons of her career.
After she drew a foul, Angel Reese turned and mocked her. Cartoonish, disrespectful, and all of it with a smirk. But she did not say a word back. She just let her game do the talking.
Clark probing and hits it over Ocots.
And when Cunningham swung it to the left wing, she was already set.
Clark knocks down a three.
She was rolling. And on the next drive, she attacked and drew contact again.
Clark putting on the moves, draws the foul. Now she's arguing it should be and one. It'll be free throws either way.
She went to the line wanting more, but she only got 2 shots. And then, just like that, foul number 3 on a call against Canada that sent her to the bench.
But gets the foul call, and it's on Clark, and it's her third.
She came back and attacked again and drew the contact. The whistle came late, way too late.
Clark going behind the back, working on Borlays. Hand off Harris, back for Clark. Has Ocott on her, and Clark draws the foul. Just too aggressive and really unnecessary by Ocott there.
That's a foul, and that's a foul.
And you could feel it rattling her. 2 free throws at the line, and the frustration showed.
Shooting 56% from the field as Clark misses another free throw.
She needed to take matters into her own hands. No whistle, no problem.
Here's Clark, who banks it in.
Quickly up the floor.
And she was seeing the floor in transition like a quarterback.
The game with their defense.
Clark Billings runs the floor and lays it in.
And look at the shot they get.
That outlet pass hit Billings in perfect stride.
Just a really good pass right here. Billings, 2 hands, goes up strong, finishes with the left.
And then came the play that defined this game. She drove hard to the rim, took heavy contact, and the refs swallowed the whistle.
Clark driving into Howard, layup too strong. Billings had it, lost it in a loose ball foul.
That is a foul in every league on the planet. But not tonight. She did not pout. She answered the only way she knows how, finding Boston cutting before the defense even blinked.
Clark feed inside, it's to Boston for 2.
Really good job of isolating Boston.
And when they kept leaving her open, she made them pay in the worst possible way.
And it's fouled on the 3.
She put the defender on the ground and still knocked it down. 3 free throws coming.
Up some full court pressure here with this lineup on the floor. Do something, you got to change the defensive rhythm.
She was in a full flow state. Nothing was going to slow her down. Nothing except the refs.
She's playing well without getting another foul.
Lead back to 13. Clark reverse. Gets it to go. That was a tough angle.
And off the steal, she took it coast to coast and drew yet another foul.
Clark right up the middle and draws the foul.
2 more at the line. 2 more made. She was carrying everything.
Caitlin Clark, eyes to the rim.
But then the whistle turned on her again. Foul number 4, defending Hillman in the paint.
Lob inside for Hillman, and Clark is called for the foul. So Hillman will head to the line with both teams in the penalty.
And on the very next drive, she took it strong to the basket again.
But none in the second half.
Dealt with those 4 early fouls. She's played 21 minutes here tonight. Clark driving on Hillman.
Contact from Hillman again. And again, nothing. 2 drives, 2 no calls, heavy contact both times. And yet every touch foul going the other way found a whistle instantly.
Here tonight, 19 points. And Canada draws the foul on the other end. And how many times have we seen her do this?
And then it happened. Foul number 5. She was done.
5th foul on Caitlin Clark.
Great hands by Boston on this end.
Forced to the bench in the 4th quarter of a game she was carrying. And while she sat, Atlanta went on a run and blew the game open. The refs took her off the floor, and there was nothing she could do about it. She finally got back with under 4 minutes left, but by then, the damage was done.
Howard drives on Clark, steps through and lays it in.
And even when she was back, she could not play real defense. 1 more foul and she was gone for good. She still tried. She still drove and conjured 1 more open look for Boston.
To Boston, back for Clark. Clark up top, Boston hoists, misses, rebound Reese. And that should just about do it.
And that was it. The window closed.
Side, it won't fall. Reese the rebound, the Fever will let the clock tick away. Indiana over.
Caitlin Clark finished with 26 points, 7 assists, and shot 8 of 17 from the field. Even debuted her signature shoe. She gave this game everything she had. But 5 fouls took her off the floor. 2 blatant no calls took away her momentum. Atlanta pulled away while she watched from the bench, and Angel Reese stood there and mocked her for it. She called
gets taken out right here by the screen. Miner's shoulder. No call.
So Connecticut came to put hands on her, and this might have been the toughest win of her season. 25 points, 5 threes, and a technical she did not deserve.
Delay of game, technical foul.
And the very first time she touched the ball, she set the tone for the entire night.
Clark launches and answers with a 3.
And just so you know, after taking a shot to the face, she was only getting warmed up.
Boston, big shot too strong. Billings clears. Outlet to Clark, who beats everyone back.
5 points just like that. She walked into Mohegan Sun and let them know the break changed nothing. And she had even more coming.
She does.
Clark, step back 3. That one will go, and she's knocked down a pin.
But here's the thing. Connecticut had a plan. From the opening possession, Lacan and Angloma were face guarding her off the ball, refusing to let her catch it. She had to fight for every single touch, but even smothered, she still found ways to make everyone around her better.
Shot clock down to 4. Here is Johnson. That one goes down.
Shot clock dying, defender draped all over her, and she still found the open shooter. That is just not fair. And she kept finding the next one.
Talked about it in the pregame press conference.
Billings rolling and laying it in at the rim.
2 assists through traffic already, but Connecticut was not backing off. Lacan was denying her off the ball so aggressively she could not even get into her sets. And when she finally did get a touch, they were ready for that too.
Boston bouncing. Clark had it blocked. Rivers at the rim.
Connecticut finally got one, a clean block at the rim, and for a second, they actually thought they had the answer.
Dying on Lacan. Here's the second-year pro out of France. Drives on Clark and had it stripped. Good hands by Clark.
She took it right back on the other end. That is the mentality you cannot game plan for, and the physical play was only going to cost them more.
Chosen to press Indiana at times. Clark really having to work for it. but a little too aggressive that time by LeCon.
And the pressure was suffocating. An 8-second violation, a shot clock violation later in the game.
And an 8-second call on Indiana.
Connecticut was choking every possession. Most players shrink from that. She drove straight into it.
The Boston screen, that two-man game was dynamic, but this time, it's all Clark.
She went through 3 defenders, not around them, through them. LeCon, Burke, and Adota, all in the paint, and it did not matter. And even a double team was not going to slow her down.
Clark on the shot fake, gets right to the rim with a left-handed finish.
She got doubled again and still finished. And even when the defense took away her shot, her vision kept the offense alive.
Inbound to Mitchell, working through traffic and lays it in.
They get that player.
A no-look bounce pass off an inbound. She sees the cut before the defender even turns around. And in transition, she was just as dangerous.
Clark, backdoor, Mitchell pulls it down and is fouled, and then caught it on her way up and nearly got the three-point play.
Well, it's Caitlin's acceleration changing her.
But Connecticut was still winning possessions. LeCon ripped her twice on consecutive plays. The turnovers started piling up.
Clark off the screen, drives into Griner. Waiting for Boston, but LeCon had her fronted.
The scheme was working, until she answered it in the most Caitlin Clark way possible.
Clark with the shot clock down to 5, backs her way in. Clark working on LeCon, and hits.
Shot clock under 3, the best defender in her jersey. And she pulled up with a fadeaway like it was a pickup game. That is not supposed to work. And on the very next possession, she made sure Connecticut felt it again.
And the first 2 points tonight, she's pulled Connecticut back within 7. Clark fire away and answers with a 3.
Connecticut scores, and she answers before the crowd can even sit down. And on the other end, she was competing just as hard, nearly picking Grainer's pocket at the rim.
Helps her have space and separation.
LeCon is trapped, Clark knocks it out of bounds.
But she was not done putting the bigs through it.
Clark thought about the 3, gets by Rivers, circles around and banks it home.
She put Griner out of her shoes and finished over 2 bigs, but the frustration was building. Walker got away with a hand on her hip, no whistle. 2 straight turnovers from the pressure, but she did not blink.
Back out there, and Mitchell turned it over right on the inbound pass. And Layla LeCon will turn it into 2.
Still locked in, still composed. That is ice in her veins. And that composure was about to pay off in a big way.
Clark, catch and shoots, big triple.
4 threes through a defense built to stop her from touching the basketball. And she was just getting started on the defensive end too. She brought that same energy on the other side of the ball.
To 4. Fever trap.
Good trap and a travel. Excellent.
Even the fouls she earned felt like a war. Connecticut challenged a call and lost. LeCon kept grabbing, and the refs finally had to acknowledge it.
Physical off the ball, physical on the ball. What's LeCon right here? She's got her locked up with her arm. That's a foul.
And when they doubled her again, she made them pay with the pass.
Has to hurry. Here is Clark. Whip inside. Boston pulls it down but can't finish.
5 assists, countless hockey assists. But she still had one more dagger in the chamber.
Mitchell.
Look at all the contact between Clark and LeCon.
And Clark hits a deep 3.
And this one put the Fever up 7 with 5 minutes left on the road. 72-65 Fever. And right here is where the officials decided to make it interesting. She went to retrieve the ball and barely tapped it with her foot. They called a technical foul for delay of game. That is one of the worst technicals you will ever see. She was literally picking the ball up.
This one has been competitive, but the Fever have...
Connecticut built a defense around denying her the ball. The refs piled on, and she still did not break. She just went right back to running the offense.
Boston, Cunningham, hits a 3!
She liked it so much she ran it again.
Clark off a pair of screens, drives on Griner. Feed inside, Boston kick out, can she do it again? Bullseye!
2 perfect triangle reads to set up Cunningham. Cunningham went on to score the final 11 points and slam the door. But make no mistake, Caitlin Clark built the house Cunningham closed.
She do it again! Bullseye!
And she had one last trip to the free throw line to put her stamp on it.
There is the foul on Lacan. She was all...
One last trip to the line. One last time making Lacan pay. 85-75 Fever on the road at Mohegan Sun. Caitlin Clark finished the night with 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 made threes, on a night where Connecticut built their entire defensive game plan around keeping the ball out of her hands. They face guarded her off the ball. They doubled and tripled her on the ball. The refs hit her with a questionable technical for retrieving the basketball, and she still walked out of that building with a 10-point road win and 4-1 in Commissioner's Cup play. She did not need the whistle. She did not need easy touches. She just needed the ball in her hands long enough to break you. That is Caitlin Clark. Tonight, Caitlin Clark faced Angel Reese for the first time in months, and of course, it got physical.
Take a look, yep. Angel Reese with a hold there.
However, by the end of the night, Clark had shut her up once again.
Oh, sidestep, Clark! Set!
5 days earlier, she put up her worst game in the W, one of 7 from the floor, 6 points in a 20-point loss to Portland that had the entire internet writing her off. But tonight, she ended the night with one of her best floor games of her career. And on the very first possession she touched the ball tonight, she drove into the paint and delivered a no-look bounce pass to her teammate cutting along the baseline for an easy finish.
Clark dumped off the hole in the lane, puts it in.
And then she went right at Howard in isolation, created space with a step back at the free throw line, and buried the mid-range jumper to tie the game at 6. But the Portland Ghost was not gone yet, because her next 3 from the right wing clanged off the rim, then a logo attempt from the left wing drew nothing but iron.
This is Clark, too strong.
And when she tried to attack the rim off a screen, Okot rose up and swatted the ball away, and the Atlanta bench celebrated like they had already won the night.
Screen, Clark to the right, blocked by Okot.
The rookie's moving. I like it. Moving.
And on the other end, her oldest rival was waiting for her physically, because Reese came right at her on defense and put a body into her, with the officials looking the other way.
Season. This is a good look for Hillman. Whistle blows.
And it wasn't only Reese, because on a drive into the paint, the contact was clear. The officials had nothing for her, and she had to argue the no call right in front of them. Because on top of the narrative and the misses, her body was fighting her too. Reports confirmed she threw up near the bench before the second half and still walked back onto the floor.
Right, so before the second half got started, Caitlin Clark, after putting up shots, headed to the bench and started to actually throw up. She appears good to go and is playing through. Grady?
However, there is a version of her that does not need the shot to fall. And when the double teams came, she read them instantly and found her teammate cutting to the basket for a clean finish.
Sees a double, gave it up to Mitchell. Mitchell hits the accelerator, puts it up and in.
She lost the ball on a drive into the paint the very next time down, and instead of hanging her head, she turned around with the calmest look on her face like the moment meant nothing to her. But on the very next possession, she stood on the baseline with the inbound, spotted her teammate slicing through the lane, and threaded the pass for an easy bucket underneath. And then her own shots started falling, because off a handoff on the right wing, she buried a 3 with a defender draped on her, pushing the lead to 18-15.
Clark got some space, bottoms.
Atlanta clawed back and took a 43-42 lead heading into the middle of the third quarter. And every narrative from the week was sitting right there waiting if the Fever collapsed. But she grabbed the ball in transition and drove right into the teeth of the defense before dropping it off to her teammate under the rim for the go-ahead bucket, 44-43.
Dump off, Boston, yes!
And on the very next defensive possession, she pulled the rebound down herself, pushed it up the floor, and launched a sidestep 3 from the top of the key that stretched the lead to 4.
Oh, sidestep, Clark, set!
And from there, the floodgates opened, because in transition, she spotted her teammate streaking through the paint and delivered the pass in stride for another easy finish at the rim.
Clark quickly, a dime, Mitchell the lane!
She went right back at Howard in isolation for the second time, drove to the free throw line, rose into a fadeaway over the same defender, and put 2 more on the board.
It has to be an offensive threat when she catches it off a double team.
Clark off 1 foot.
In transition again, she found her teammate cutting through the paint for another finish. And by now, the assists were piling up like a statement all on their own.
Possession for Atlanta, Boston. got free inside.
And then it was her turn to finish, because her teammate found her on the wing with a quick pass. And she drove coast to coast and scored at the rim to push the lead to 8.
More efficient for the field.
Clark off the feed from Boston.
The connection between her and her teammates was flowing in every direction, and the replays told a story of two players who see each other before the defense even rotates. She kept distributing, running the triangle, and finding her teammate cutting under the basket, drawing a foul on the play and putting Atlanta in deeper trouble.
Stops over to Clark, touch pass, Hall inside, and Hall is fouled.
Yet, the thing about this game was that she was not just orchestrating the offense, because on defense, she picked up a foul she did not agree with and let the officials hear about it.
Up a foul.
But instead of letting the frustration carry her, she locked in on the perimeter and denied everything, staying in front of her matchup until the shot clock expired and the building roared.
Cross. Pow, nowhere to go. Suffocating defense from Indiana.
Atlanta finished with 71 points, their lowest total of the entire season, and she was on the floor competing for every single one of those stops. And in the fourth quarter, she took the ball from one end of the floor to the other, crossed over a defender, and finished with her left hand at the rim to push the lead to 11.
Time left in this one. Clark going at Howard. Clark.
And on the very next possession, she drove into the paint again, collapsed the defense, and kicked it out to her teammate standing alone in the left corner for a made three that blew the roof off.
Outside to Cunningham.
She drove to the basket one more time and baited the foul so cleanly that she came up smiling, fists in the air, knowing the game was already over before the free throws even left her hands.
Fouled by Canada, and Clark with the sarcastic celebration.
Atlanta challenged the call, and the challenge failed, and you could see her standing at the line with the look of someone who had answered every single question the week threw at her. She pulled down one more defensive rebound, pushed it up the floor, and drew another foul, because even with the game decided she was still competing like the score was tied.
That's not the percentage you want.
And this time, she stepped to the line and buried both free throws, pushing the lead to 13 with a minute left and nothing else to prove. She grabbed one last defensive rebound with a minute on the clock, because even the final possession of a 12-point win belonged to her. 17 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. And afterwards, she called it one of the best floor games she has played in the W. The Valkyries built a wall just for her at Chase Center, and the refs were ready to swallow the whistle all night long.
Largest lead of the game, plus 11. Clark, a kick ball, Golden State's way. That's all Veronica Burton.
However, by the end of the night, she walked off as the fastest player ever to break a record.
They force another turnover. Clark, the quick pass, whips it right to Cunningham. 500 career assists for Caitlin Clark.
She opened the game by doing something nobody else in this league does, pushing in transition off a defensive stop and finishing through traffic with a quickness that had Golden State scrambling to recover.
Back and forth we go, Caitlin Clark.
Her vision was on the floor before her shot was, finding Mitchell from the top of the key with an overhead pass through traffic that most point guards in this league would never even attempt.
It's Charles who defends Caitlin Clark right out of the gate.
But Golden State had built something for her tonight, because the moment she attacked the basket, Burton was right there to tip the ball away, and the whistle stayed in the pocket.
Picking her up in the backcourt, let her feel her presence.
They put their best driver right at her in isolation, and Williams attacked the gap, finished at the rim, and even she had to shake her head as the ball dropped through.
Eyes against Caitlin Clark and finishes.
She tried to create in isolation, pulling up with a jumper she has hit 1,000 times, and Burton rose up and swallowed it whole, blocking her clean at the top of the key.
Shake, Clark trying to get Burton. Burton with the block.
Burton did not deflect that shot. She trapped it in midair and stuffed it back into her chest, and the replay angle only made it look more complete than the first time. Then they stopped guarding her one-on-one entirely because Burton and Salon trapped her at the top of the key, forced the turnover, and put her on the floor with no whistle.
Largest lead of the game, plus 11. Clark, a kick ball, Golden State's way.
Off a pick and roll, she pulled up from the elbow with a clean look at the rim, and the ball rimmed out like every other look she had taken in the first half had rimmed out before it.
Caitlin Clark along two, too strong.
The shot clock ran her into a desperate heave from the left corner, and Boston could not connect on the kickout either, and you started to feel a quiet wall closing in on everything the Fever ran.
From 3, Clark launches with 1 second on the shot clock.
She drove into the paint, looking for contact, and leaned right into a defender on the shot, and the officials looked at it and kept the whistle in their pocket like it was not their problem.
As well. Clark's got Stokes on her, trying to lean in. Cunningham to Johnson. Off the glass is good.
But then she rose up for a 3 on the far left wing, and the contact landed so undeniably that even this crew blew it down. 3 free throws, every single one of them buried. On her next jumper from the left corner, Chen ran right into her on the follow-through. 3 more free throws at the stripe, and she drained them clean because the points had to come from somewhere. That is what the first half looked like. A coordinated defensive assault with 11 blocks coming as a team, double coverage on every screen, and officials treating the physicality like it was part of the Valkyries' game plan. By the third quarter, she was 3 of 12 from the floor. The deficit hung there, and Golden State looked like they had figured out something nobody in this league had ever figured out before. When she tried to slow Burton down in isolation, Burton went right through her shoulder for the finish at the rim, and the night kept getting heavier on her by the possession.
Burton up against Caitlin Clark.
She drove to the rim one more time with everything she had left, and Burton rose up beside her and sent the shot straight back. A 5-block night swallowing the lane on every drive.
Clark, her turn to drive up Burton. Burton gets her.
Even her passes were getting eaten alive because a high feed she tried to lift over the swarm got deflected and stolen by Salon at the top. Another empty trip on the board for the Fever.
Dribbling out of traffic. Pass deflected by Salon.
She kept hunting the right matchup and threading entry passes to Boston in the post on 3 straight possessions, and 3 straight times the finish at the rim would not fall for either of them.
To Boston at the post. Boston trying to spin out of that double team. Can't get it. The ball's loose.
5 blocks for Burton, 3 of 12 for Caitlin Clark, a swarming defense choking out every lane, and the Valkyries bench started to believe they had finally solved her. But here is what no defense in this league has ever solved. Because you can block her shot, you can swallow the whistle, but you can never block her pass. She locked up her defender on the perimeter, forced the stop, grabbed the ball, and fired a long outlet to Cunningham for the layup, a routine pass she had made 500 times by then. Except this one was not routine at all, because that was career assist number 500, fastest ever to 1,559 games against Sue Bird's 82.
You see the stat there, 59th career game, fastest in WNBA history to 500 career assists. I mean, just a terrific player, in particular her passing in the open court.
And even when the scoreboard would not bend for her, everything else did, and the Valkyries were about to learn that the thing that makes her historic is the thing they could never take away. She read a bounce pass from the top of the key like she had seen it all night, turned the steal into a bounce assist to Johnson on the wing, and the run started right there in the moment they thought they had her.
This is as healthy as the Valkyries have been. Clark hits it right back and feeds Johnson for 2.
She slid into a passing lane on a Williams drive and tipped the ball clean out of her hands, and what had been an empty Valkyries possession became Fever transition the other way.
Around in that situation.
Williams turns it over. Here comes Clark.
When they tried to swing the ball past her in the next set, she jumped the route, ripped it clean, and stepped into an open look at the top of the key from the steal she had just created.
Clark, Latite, tight coverage. Clark off the mark.
She put the ball on the floor, drew the help defender on the drive, and dropped it to Hull in the right corner so clean that nobody on Golden State had to play for it.
Perimeter. Corner shot for Hull, not there.
She found Allen rolling out of a pick and roll and delivered the pass that set up the drive to the basket. The kind of read 500 career assists has been built on.
With Burton defending. Gives it to Hines Allen, who leans in, uses her strength.
Off another pick and roll, she slipped a pocket pass between 2 defenders to Mitchell on the drive, and Mitchell finished through the contact for the and one that flipped the energy in the building.
Mitchell driving, will toss it up, count it! Body bucket and 1 for Kelsey Mitchell!
Same set, different angle, and the pass slid through the same gap again. Allen on the drive, the rim absorbing the finish, and the Fever run kept building one possession at a time.
Different defender Caitlin Clark has faced her tonight. Clark gets it out to Hines Allen. It'll stay here.
She drove right and caught the cutting Thimpson with a bounce pass through the lane for the layup, and Thimpson buried it, the assist of the game and one of the cleanest reads of her season.
Just uses some elevation and athleticism to get that up.
Right now, Gabby Williams on Caitlin Clark, and Burton was on Mitchell.
On a pick and pop with Boston, she hooked the pass with one hand over a closing defender to find Boston at the elbow for the jumper. A pass nobody in this league throws comfortably.
Some of their numbers. Clark.
And then the shot came back to her. A spot up three from the left corner off a screen by Allen that splashed clean through and reminded the building who she still was. The right wing answered next. A spot up three off a Boston feed that fell so cleanly it pulled the Fever within one in the fourth quarter and lit up Chase Center.
Clark. She'd been sitting for a while, but she's got the hot hand.
And the form was still there on both of those shots. The balance was still there, and the Knight had not broken a single piece of what makes her jumper what it is. She baited Thornton into reaching at the top of the key with the hesitation crossover, drew the contact, and walked to the line because the whistle was not going to silence the whole night. Catching the ball above the wing, she let Williams crash right into her on the catch, drew the foul on the contact, and walked back to the stripe one more time.
Quick hands by Williams.
Driving for the three at the left wing, she absorbed contact from Burton on the gather. The whistle came, stopping the possession and giving her team the ball back. And the routine at the line was the same. It has been her whole career. Ball and breath and release and splash. Every single attempt of the night accounted for at the stripe. She kept pushing the pace anyway, grabbing offensive rebounds and turning them into outlet passes that ran the floor against a defense that had been bigger than her all night long.
Raven Johnson's been a big part of it. I think it's great for them to have that production.
Mitchell leaks out, takes the pass from Clark, can't finish.
The last possession went to Boston in the post for a turnaround in the paint. The shot rimmed out at the buzzer, and Golden State celebrated a 2-point win on their own floor at Chase Center.
Had a look at it, but the Valkyries survive.
3 of 12 from the floor, 11 blocks against. A defense built specifically to stop one player, and a scoreboard that finally read 90-88 in favor of the home team. On the same night they built the wall and her shot stopped falling, she walked off Chase Center as the fastest player ever to 1,000 points and 500 assists in the history of this league. 59 games to do what Sue Bird needed 82 to do. 23 games faster than the greatest point guard this league has ever produced on its biggest stage. And the same player whose shot did not fall tonight now owns the highest career assists per game average in the entire history of the league. They built the wall, the refs let them, her shot stopped falling, and she still made history nobody in this league can ever take back.
Back here for Clark. She will launch, draws the foul, and will shoot 3 free throws.
That's how you scare an entire arena silent. Her first home game in 9 months. And Caitlin Clark was down on the floor in front of her own crowd. And for 1 second, nobody knew what came next. But one thing was for sure, Caitlin Clark doesn't stay down for long. She never has.
Again, a lot of shoes were filled last year.
Catch and shoot, and Clark delivers with a 3.
4 of the last 4 #1 picks in the league were all in this building tonight, with Clark, Buchers, Boston, and Azzi Fudd on the same floor. The whole next generation in one place. And just 5 days after the Liberty, this was game 2 of the preseason, this time against Dallas. And from the jump, Clark wasn't easing into anything. Beckers tries to pick her up before she can even get across half court, but Clark just uses the speed. One dribble, and it's a blow-by straight to the rim for the easy layup.
As Clark gets by Beckers and gets to the rim.
And from the jump, she was telling who the real #1 pick was. And a few possessions later, she gave the crowd exactly what they came for.
You've got Caitlin Clark back on the floor.
Yes, it is. Again, a lot of shoes were filled last year.
Catch and shoot, and Clark delivers with a 3.
Catch and shoot. No hesitation, like she'd been thinking about this shot for 9 straight months. And then on the other end, she did it again. Picked it off in transition, full sprint, and used that same speed for another wide open layup.
And it's Clark who sets sail for the other end.
Look how easy she makes it look. The steal, the full court sprint, and not a single Dallas defender can stay in front. And on the very next possession, she pulled up from deep again. The shot didn't fall, but you could already see the confidence coming back.
Clark steps back and misses on a 3 ball.
But Dallas wasn't going to let her cook all night. They tried to put her fire out early, starting with the hard contact. But Clark drew the foul, knocked down the free throws, and just kept rolling. It was still the first quarter. The Fever were up, and Clark was looking to ramp it up even more, but her teammates just couldn't keep up.
Clark over the shoulder. Billings couldn't finish inside. That was
And not much later, Dallas decided to ramp up the fouls too.
trying to work her way off the screen. Clark gets free. Clark dancing, has the size advantage, tries to use it, draws the...
Luckily, the refs called it, and that gave Clark 2 more at the line to knock down. And all that hard focus on her, it left her teammates wide open, and Clark took full advantage of every one of them.
I fade away.
Clark crosses Allen up, drives in to draw the big, and leaves Billings standing wide open.
Blows by Allen, finds Billings who connects.
Same thing on the next play. Coming out of the pick and roll, she spots the gap and feeds her teammate once again.
Feed inside, it's Hines Allen.
And on the next play, she hit them with the reverse. Dallas was so focused on her teammates by now, they left Clark wide open for the 3.
Kimbrough, extra pass, Clark, bullseye.
And the Fever went into the second quarter with a slight lead, and you could already see it. Clark was slowly getting back to her level. Into the second, she kept that momentum rolling. But Dallas wasn't done with the contact at the rim either.
Came to Indiana playing against Butler, and the way that she gets to her spots is not the fastest, but it's efficient.
Here's Clark on the drive and draws the foul.
That was already foul number 2 many, and Dallas wasn't shy about putting hands on her. But for now, Clark just stepped up and knocked down both free throws. Sooner or later, somebody was going to cross the line.
And the Dallas Wings are just keeping that ball on one side.
Not even the second half yet, and the free throw line was already starting to feel like Clark's second home. Dallas was losing control, and not even a play later, it happened again.
Clark on the handoff from Billings, and she's fouled again.
And all that constant physical play was finally working in Dallas's favor. They built up a 19-point lead, and Clark took a step back, let her teammates carry more of the work.
Clark bouncing, Hines Allen rolling into traffic and draws the foul.
And it cost her because her momentum and rhythm was starting to fade.
Clark through the hands of Timpson, and Indiana turns it over for the 10th time.
And ending the half, things weren't looking too good for the Fever. A double-digit gap, going against a team that was focused on Clark a little too much, even for preseason. But Clark was sitting on 19 points already, and she had the power to bring them back. And coming out of the break, she used it to feed Kelsey Mitchell early on.
Let alone guards.
Clark looking back door. Oh, where only Mitchell could get it.
A perfect backdoor pass to the cutting Mitchell. And it was working so well, Clark decided to run it again on the very next play.
Rebounds. And they'll go back door again.
There it is.
The momentum was real, and Dallas saw it too. So they decided to stop it. For good this time.
She will launch, draws the foul, and will shoot 3 free throws.
Clark got the quick handoff from beyond the arc. She pulled up to shoot, and that's when somebody finally crossed the line. Clark's right foot hits Smith's foot first. Her body twists, and she comes straight down on her own kneecap. Hard. Officials reviewed the play and upgraded the foul to a flagrant one. And somehow, Caitlin Clark walked herself back to the free throw line. And after that, Stephanie White made the call. 21 points in 16 minutes on her first home game in 9 months, and as Clark walked off the floor, the whole building stood up for her one more time. Without Clark on the floor, the Wings just kept stretching it. 2 preseason games, 2 scares, and 2 reminders. Luckily, the injury wasn't serious, but she's going to have to watch her back, because the rest of the league already has a target on it. Year 3 starts now.